Project Zomboid is an apocalyptic survival game where the entire map is at your disposal. But what if when the apocalypse began, you were stuck on a cargo ship with no escape? Could you kill every single zombie on the ship and make it safe? Navigating through multiple claustrophobic floors, you'll discover that there are several points of interest on this ship. A prison full of guns, a hospital, and hundreds of walking corpses. Will I be able to kill every single zombie on this floating hellscape? Today, that's what we're going to find out. These are the traits for any nerds that care, and let's get into the video. We began this run in a four-way street. I started roaming around the nearby area, and I noticed that every single building was completely full of zombies. It was tough to find one that wasn't, but I did eventually manage to find an empty house, and safely got inside. We'll actually be seeing more of this house later. But for now, I did find a green hoodie in here, and a small assortment of guns. Heading back downstairs, I encountered my first zombie. I missed a few hits here, but I eventually did take him down. Heading into the kitchen, I managed to find a junk drawer full of 2 hammers. The next few houses didn't produce much, but heading upstairs into this house, my early luck took a turn for the worse. And when I opened this bedroom door, I was surprised to see 2 zombies, until this third one came out of nowhere and lacerated my torso, completely ruining my green hoodie. Getting lacerated this early in the run, I was not too hopeful, but in the next house, I did find some cigarettes, which almost makes up for it. And since I did select the smoker trait, I was really going to need these. In the same house, I found a crowbar. Now, something that we should keep in mind is that this boat just happens to be parked right outside Louisville. The next 2 houses weren't really producing much. I had a lot of close calls with zombies though. It seems like any little amount of noise I would make, 5 zombies would follow. Thankfully, while searching these houses though, I did find a duffel bag. This is gonna be great so I can start hoarding loot like the loot goblin I am. Throughout this first day, I was just really trying to stock up on food and find weapons so we can start making a dent in all the zombies on the ship. It was starting to get dark and I was going to need to find shelters soon. So I started to make my way to the west side of the ship to try to find a place to settle down for the night. This is where I ran into what seemed to be a garden area on the cargo ship. But soon a horde began to form. But with only a hammer as my weapon, I wasn't sure I'd be able to take them all down. So as some of you may be asking yourself, why didn't I just use my crowbar that I just got? The answer to that question is I'm retarded, so I began running back to the residential area. I ran to the nearest house and ran straight into a zombie. I was at high exertion, and then another one came out of nowhere. I was forced to run upstairs and somehow managed to jump out this window. Well, after a few tries, that is. I jumped through, made it to what looked like a second floor patio area. The network of all of these houses seemed to be connected by a metal bridge, allowing me to go up into the second floor and run into a different second floor window. I found a bathroom to sit inside with no windows so no one could see me. Smoked a cigarette and waited for the hordes to disperse. I eventually made my way into the house's bedroom, where I closed all of the windows and decided to sleep for the night. I woke on day 2 in the middle of the night. It was still dark out and I was desperately thirsty. So I headed downstairs and got a drink before immediately heading outside. I began to try to take down some of the zombies in the area. There was a lot of them, but I carefully started picking them off one by one. As I was doing so, a few more came out from behind the building. I was forced to back off. I quickly evaded the small horde and I managed to find my way into some sort of like boho inspired house. The design of this map is awesome. I had forgotten earlier that I found a crowbar, so I decided to equip it so we could start making some progress against killing all these zombies. But as I mentioned earlier, all of these buildings were completely overrun. But I started to take out the zombies that were by themselves. I mean, we gotta start somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zombies I took down. I managed to take down these 6 zombies pretty fast, and I felt I could totally take on more. So I headed into this building and started taking down some more zombies. I didn't think there was that many in there, but then a whole group came from upstairs and almost killed me from behind. I lost them pretty fast, and I was able to take down another as I was leaving. But my running attracted a whole other group, so I was forced to completely evacuate the area. I had like every single debuff and I thankfully got inside this house here. After this quick break, I headed over to an area called the Bridge. It's a large industrial area on the map and it's full of a lot of housing and a police station. My goal was to try to get inside of the police station so I could get guns so we could speed up this process considerably. Entering the first gate of the bridge, I noticed a few zombies in the area. I took in a few, but unfortunately the laceration that I got yesterday was still really holding me back. I was in a lot of pain, but I took down as many as I could and headed over to this industrial area where I did find another crowbar. Through the industrial area, I made my way to the police station. There wasn't any zombies in the area that I could see, so I began hitting the door in an effort to try and break it down. But as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are multiple floors of this ship, and making any noise is bound to draw some sort of attention to you. And that's exactly what ended up happening. I got maybe 5 hits in, and zombies began literally falling from the sky to try and kill me. And the ones on the ground were quick on my trail. Within a few seconds, I had a horde on me, and I had to retreat immediately. Thankfully, finding shelter inside of a bakery nearby. I did try to come back though, this time trying to pick off zombies as quietly as possible. This worked for a while. I was able to take down quite a bit of zombies until I whispered too close to a horde and they were all on top of me in seconds. As the day was coming to an end, I had taken down a good chunk of zombies. And once I was inside one of the houses, I was able to find refuge in an upstairs bedroom. I got maybe 2 hours of sleep before some banging nearby woke me up. I was unable to go back to sleep. Day 3 was eventful. I ate some food and immediately headed outside to begin killing zombies and taking breaks when I began to get exhausted. At one point, I realized my laceration from the first day was infected. I didn't have any antibiotics or rubbing alcohol, so I was forced to try to make it over to the medical center on the east side of the ship. This place was crawling with the undead, but I managed to find a room with no zombies inside. I jumped inside and quickly looted anything that would help the infection. I was so lucky there was alcohol wipes in here. There was zombies banging outside the door, and I just barely got out the window before they came inside. I headed back to a neighboring house and took my bandage off to realize somehow my laceration had healed anyway. Very, very weird. I was slowly shipping off zombies one by one throughout the day. It seemed like they just kept coming and coming. At one point, I headed back to the bridge. I wanted to keep chipping away at all the zombies so we could get to the police station sooner rather than later. So I had a quick snack and started leading them towards me. It did take a little bit, but I did manage to take out the group. I made a huge dent in the population at this point. After another break, I headed back out at night and kept taking down the zombies near the police station, which wasn't the best idea because I almost died a few times. The zombies would seemingly come out of nowhere and almost kill me. Eventually, I got tired and went into a nearby room and slept for the night. When I awoke from my sleep, I realized that the police station door was knocked down. I guess the zombies broke it down as I was sleeping. But this is good for me, because now I can enter and try to get all of the guns upstairs. But as I entered and started hitting the next security door, another group ambushed me. I was forced to retreat again, which seems to be a common theme for the video so far. Despite all the constant retreating I was doing, we were making quite a bit of progress, as you can see by all the corpses in the area. I kept going back to the police station, trying to clear out all the zombies in the area so I'd be able to enter through the security doors. But I seemed to keep running into random hordes. I decided that the only way I was going to be able to get into the police station is if I killed every single zombie in my radius. Because every time I tried to hit the security door, I would get completely swarmed. So I spent day 5 just killing every single zombie I saw in the area. And there was a lot. They were coming from all the floors of the ship and most of the day just killing zombies. By the end of the day, the ship was covered with corpses. Tomorrow, we would try and enter the police station. It was foggy on day 6, and I headed over to the police station to scout out the backside. I hadn't looked back here yet, and thankfully there was actually a window that bypassed a few of the security doors. So jumping through one of the windows, I headed upstairs and I started hitting the security door. I didn't actually know for sure if there was gonna be loot behind this door. I was just kind of hoping for the best. I started hitting the security door with a metal pipe, which come to find out was not the best idea. So eventually I switched to the crowbar. The crowbar took down these doors extremely fast, and eventually I made it to the armory. Only issue with this so-called armory was there was only ammo inside of it, but I did find a shotgun earlier in the run. Thankfully, there was buckshot. There were a few other rooms inside the police station I hadn't checked yet, but after spending much time breaking them down, there was nothing inside. I had finally secured a gun and some ammo. This was going to make this run a whole lot easier. Days 7 and 8 kind of went by pretty fast. I spent most of the day really just going to more populated areas in the ship that I'd kind of avoided so far. I mean, these places were completely overrun and took most of the day to just clear out. During these 2 days, I also wanted to start building up the house that I was going to be living in. I was sick and tired of zombies like hitting my window and jumping inside in the middle of the night. So I did end up going to the only hardware store in the ship and grabbing as many planks and nails as I could carry. The hardware store was completely full of zombies, and it was a lot more work than I thought it would be, but getting those planks and nails were a big step in getting my base somewhat secure. I also cleared out the medical center from earlier in the video and looted all the pain meds and bandages you could possibly need. It was also today that I headed downstairs and discovered something I was not expecting. The parking lot under the ship was completely overrun. I mean, there was at least 100 something zombies down there. They've been below my feet this whole video. No wonder every time I tried to kill a zombie, 3 zombies would come out of nowhere. They could hear me from beneath the ship. A few zombies did follow me from the parking lot. I guess they somehow spotted me. I took down as many as I could, but it got to a point where I just had to run away. This would definitely be a job for the shotgun because there's no way I'm taking them all out with this crowbar. I spent the rest of day 8 fortifying my base and demolishing anything I didn't want inside. Day 9, I spent most of the day trying to kill all the zombies inside the school on the east side of the ship. The school was completely overrun, and I'd known that since the beginning, since every time I went by it, I would get completely swarmed. Just getting to the school was a challenge. There were tons of zombies roaming the street in that area, and it took a lot of time to take all these zombies down. It was a constant battle to try to roam these streets. When I did manage to make it to the school, I was bombarded with even more zombies. It took down at least 10 zombies before entering the inside. Once I entered, it was almost pitch black inside, and zombies kept coming out of nowhere. When I was finally done killing all the zombies in here, I decided to go home and sleep for the night. I spent most of day 10 just wanting to build up my base. I was just trying to make it look cool. I went from the bar to the school to pick up various items I thought were cool on the walls. I found this funny mirror here that said, "Fuck you, Jim." I don't really know who Jim is, but I thought that was pretty funny. I even dropped by the school and grabbed an aquarium. I stopped by a few houses and got some pretty furniture that I thought would look good for the house. And by the end of day 11, I had a pretty cool base going. It was secure, and it also looked good inside. It was day 12, and the entire top part of the ship had been cleared. There was only one place left to explore, and that was the parking lot below the ship. We'd already seen earlier in the video that the place was completely overrun. The underside of the ship is also where the exit to the ship is. So the only way we were getting off this floating death trap was if we killed the rest of the zombies in the parking lot. So I took one more look at my beautiful base, and I gathered all of my shotgun shells in my shotgun, and I headed to what I thought was almost certain death. I walked across the ship one last time and I headed down into the parking lot and opened fire. There were tons of them. The battle went on for hours, and they just kept coming. But eventually, I did take down the very last zombie. I searched the bottom of the ship and made sure I didn't miss any zombies. But it seemed it was empty, so I walked to the exit. I was finally off that ship. After 13 days and tons of zombies killed, I was finally safe.
No. Wait.